Okay, so I always have students who find this assignment a little confusing, like even in my classroom. And I get it because um, part of it is kind of hard. And if you don't think this way, or you're not this kind of, not that you're not this kind of a person, let me backtrack that. If you've never done this type of thing before, then yes, it would be very, very uh, challenging. I don't want to say anything else. Challenging. So I'm going to walk you through it. Okay, you watch the video. This is what cybersecurity really is: the encryption of information over the internet. So if I send data, um, an email, a text message, whatever, how do I keep it safe so nobody else can spy on my stuff? See, this is what real cybersecurity is, right? Because when you talk about hacking, most of the internet is pretty secure. And as a quote unquote hacker, I'm not going to be able to break into the system. So, like for instance, since you're a student, let's talk about something that you might actually be interested in doing, right? So, let's say hacking into the Humble ISD IT department in order to get your grades or change your grades. Okay, um, you're it's not even a real possibility, right? Like you're not going to sit at a school computer and, like I said, do some sort of magic coding that's going to enable you to get into the Humble ISD system and change your grades. Okay, that's just not realistic. Okay, but what would be more realistic would be if you somehow manage to get a specific teacher's um, password, login and password, and log into their grade book and then change your grades. Okay, now I will disclaimer that by saying I am not promoting that you do these things. I definitely am not promoting that you do these things. But also, you'll probably get caught because the teacher themselves would then, notice that the grades have been changed. Um, I for sure would, because I know who all my students are. So I'm not promoting it. I'm just using it as an example. Okay. So hacking into the computer system to change your grades is probably not realistic, but uh, figuring out what a specific teacher's login and password is might be a little bit more realistic. And then, of course, with that information, you can get into the system and make your changes. Did you hack it, or did you just steal their private information? Hacking is pretty much just stealing private information. It's not like the magic hacking you think it is. So this is what we're talking about, right? And you watch the first video, excuse me, on the internet. So you have this form. This is what you're going to fill out. So this is the actual assignment. You got 4 questions. How many characters for sample 1, sample 2, sample 3, sample 4? So you are at this screen, and hopefully you watch the videos to get here for the hour of code, simple encryption. But nonetheless, here's where you are, and you're at the Caesar substitution. Okay, and you have encrypted sample. Right, so this is an encrypted sample. Then you have encrypted sample 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, so let's reset this. So it'll actually show, right, the encrypted sample. Here is a plain text message that has been encrypted at all. You can click blah, 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 blah. All right. So what you're seeing is the original letters, and then it maps to these blue letters. But since there's no encryption, right, now it'll start to be encrypted. As I start to move this over, you see that the words are getting messed up. Okay, but the first one, 0, there's no encryption. So A is A, B is B, C is C, D, D, and so on and so forth. Okay. So how do you do the assignment? So we're going to start slowly. So today is very, 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 very easy. you'll start here and it says, how many characters was the alphabet shifted for encrypted sample 1? You go here and you click on this and you see encrypted sample 1. There it is. Okay, I'm going to give you the first answer. So everybody should get 25% at least, because it's 25 points per question. There's 4 questions, is 100%. This is so easy that my child can do it. Okay, I'll click. Nope, can't read it. Click again. Oh, now I can read it. So the answer to number 1 is 2. It took 2 shifts in order to read it. So if you look, because I just want to go over this, if you look, A was here, right? And then 1, 2. So C is A, D is B, E is C, etc., etc. Y is now Y, A is now Y, B is Z, right? And then by looking, right? So if we look for let's look for an A is Y. Okay, so let's look for an A. There's an A. Way. So if we go back to the beginning, okay, you can see that C. It says C, right? Right there. C. Go 2 more. A. C is A. Okay, and it's that simple. And it's called the Caesar substitution because that is really all that the Romans, otherwise known as Caesar, and if you watch the video they explain this, that's what they would have done. They would have simply moved the alphabet a certain number over, shifting it left or right by 1, 2, 3, or whatever the number was. And that was the key. So the number is shifted to 2. So a Roman soldier would have an encrypted message, and he would know that, or he would have a key, and the key would be 2. So now when I bring the message to whoever it has to go to, I say, here's the message, and the key is 2. And the person receiving the message would already know that 2 means you're moving the alphabet over 2. Okay, and that's exactly how they would do it. And back in those days, that was probably super encrypted because your average person couldn't even read. So you were really only protecting it from other enemies who might be able to read what you had, right? But then they wouldn't know about the key to shift it over, so they would just be seeing a jumbled mess. You know, this would be the message, and they'd be like, what? HGG, what the heck is that, right? And they didn't know that it was a code, right? So you had to shift H over twice, to get the real letter. Oh, H is F. Okay, right? And that was it. It was easy. Okay, and you're going to do the same thing. You're just going to do this. So you would come over here now to your Google form, and I'm not going to click because then it'll give you the answers, and I don't want to do that. But if you click here on the short answer, you put the number 2, and that's the answer. Okay, but when you get to the other 3, which I'm not going to give you right now, you are going to simply come over here, encrypted sample 2, encrypted sample 3, encrypted sample 4. Okay, and that's what you're going to do. So you're going to fill out the Google form, you're going to answer the questions to give me the correct numbers. And that's it for today. I'm not going any further today. We'll continue the next step tomorrow, because I figure if I separate it now, I'll have less confusion.